All right, Coach, this past weekend at home faced DBU and UT Tyler. Two results that didn't go your way. Just talk about the two matches this past weekend.
Yeah, I foreshadowed it a little bit last week about how hard I thought these matches were going to be, and they were tough. I mean, DBU on Friday got off to actually a really good start. We won the doubles point, pretty comfortably. With only one we lost on 3, but we actually didn't play very poorly on 3 at all. Just things didn't go our way, but we didn't play poorly. So it felt really good going into the singles, but it was very apparent within about the first 45 seconds of singles that DBU had talked after the doubles loss and made a commitment that they were just going to come out just like with crazy energy, and they did. And they, for the first, I thought if we would be able to just kind of manage the, withstand the onslaught in the first 45 minutes or so of their energy, that would be okay. And we did win like 4 first sets, and Eva played a great match to beat their number 1. Margot played a great match to win as well, but just DBU just didn't go away in the singles. We won first sets on a couple courts, and the first thing, the very first point of the second set, when they would won the point, their players were just so full of enthusiasm and energy and positivity, and we just didn't match that, and that was kind of disappointing. Ended up being our first loss on our home courts in the last 3 years, and first loss to DBU in the last 3 years, and to lose the energy battle on our home courts was really disappointing. And so, we still had chances to win. We lost some close 3-setters, and yeah, just kind of a disappointing result. And so we had a bit of a chat about it afterwards, and I think we made a commitment that we were not going to lose the energy battle the next day, and that we were going to clean some things up and be ready for UT Tyler. We knew that they'd beaten Kingsville a couple days previous, so they had a day off with just like a light practice, and we had a almost 4-hour match that was very physically and emotionally demanding, and we knew that we were going to have to be ready for UT Tyler, and we got off to a really bad start at 1 doubles, maybe Eva and Avery's one of their worst matches, and we just couldn't get anything going. We were just kind of a little bit lost out there, and just that took a lot out of us for sure. 3 doubles bounced back and had a really good match after their disappointment from the day before, and we gave ourselves a chance, but couldn't get the doubles point out of UT against Tyler, and then so we got off to a decent start on some singles courts. We won first sets, and we had leads in first sets, and we just weren't able to close out sets. We had, I can count 6, at least 5, maybe 6 sets where we were up 5-4 and didn't close it out. And so that was tough, and UT Tyler, they fought really hard, and they were really pumped up to play us, and they didn't in neither match did the other team want to win more than us, but in the DBU match they wanted to do what was necessary to get the win on their court more than we did, and then there was just that carryover the next day against Tyler, and so yeah, so a tough weekend for us for sure. And so we had another chat yesterday at the end of the match, and we just talked about like what was it going to take for us to to be able to we had Sunday off and today off from practice, and what was it going to take for us to let that kind of disappointment get out of our system, and then pick ourselves up on Tuesday to come back and have a good start to the week of practice, because it doesn't get any easier, because we have Cameron, who's always tough, and Midwestern, who's number 2 in the country, coming up this weekend on the road. So this week of practice is going to be a real test for us for sure.
You basically segued into my next question. What's the current vibe and practice this week, and how will you guys use this week to regroup, recharge, and recover going into the road again?
Yeah, I mean, we're, when you start the season 12-0, and that includes some, 3 or 4 wins over ranked teams, and and then the match, the loss to Flagler on the road, you lose a close match to the number 6 team in the country on the road. you don't feel it as much probably as when you lose at home in conference matches to matches where, like, just to be honest, I think we had stronger teams on paper, and you know, like with the scores and the matches and the opportunities we had, like I think that you know is pretty accurate. So yeah, I mean, like the whole week, it's just going to be about making sure we take care of the vibe of the team and prepare to go out and have a tough battle, because you know, our tennis didn't get any worse in the last weekend. You know, it just didn't. We weren't quite as focused as we needed to be, and we weren't as sharp as we needed to be. So that definitely needs to get better. And so we're probably gonna, you know, the first day of practice, we're gonna get out like we usually do and just like hit a lot of balls and get our feet under us and you know, just get prepared for the rest. And we're gonna have to compete in practice. We're gonna have to compete in practice. I'm gonna have to look at some lineup stuff, and we're gonna have to put ourselves in, as much as you can simulate the pressure of a real match in practice. The only way to do that is to compete with each other. So we're gonna have to do some of that this week. And you know, this team still has a lot of goals to work towards. I mean, you know, some crazy results. You know, this week in Lone Star Conference play. I mean, DBU beats us, and then they go lose 4-3 to Kingsville, which is not something that I don't think a lot of people expected. You know, Cameron lost to UTPB. You know, there's just, I said this the other day, like the Lone Star Conference is just stacked in tennis this year. It's by far the most parity. I mean, I've been here for 3 years. This is triple the parity that we've ever seen. So yeah, I mean, we're just gonna have to get ourselves prepared, because you know, we still got a lot of goals that are very attainable. You know, we're just gonna have to use this for, you know, as fuel, you know, to have a good week of practice and get ready to go compete this weekend.
Would you say that this weekend maybe could be, you mentioned how DBU had just a lot more emotions going into the match. You mentioned just some play that could have been a little bit better. Do you think a weekend like this could be chalked to maybe just the youth of your team overall? Because we've talked about it in previous weeks where you only have like a couple upperclassmen and then a whole bunch of first and second semester freshmen.
Yeah, no, I mean, I knew that was going to be part of the growth that we were going to have to go through this season, is that, you know, the team last year and the year before, you know, where, you know, we only lost, you know, I mean, Angelo State has either been first or second in the Lone Star Conference for the last 7 years. So it's like there's definitely an expectation, you know, of what we need to do in Lone Star Conference play. And, you know, we've got half of the team this year kind of knows a little bit about that, because they, you know, have been through, you know, seasons. But yeah, we're young, and you know, we had, you know, girls on the court they're still figuring a lot of things out about, you know, how they're adjusting to college tennis. And, you know, to be thrown in this situation where you're, you know, top 15 team and the expectation is that you're going to win Lone Star Conference matches at home. That's just, you know, that's just part of the deal. And, you know, to get thrown in there where that is the expectation without actually having kind of like lived it yet, for sure, I think that contributed to it quite a bit. But I can't, you know, just blame it on that. I mean, you know, DBU had some freshmen contributing. UT Tyler had freshmen contributing. So, you know, everyone's a freshman at some point, you know, and you got to go through disappointing losses, and you got to go through stuff like that so you can grow. And so, you know, if you know, taking the losses that we did this weekend and going through the disappointment that we went through is what helps us to go 2-0 this weekend, then we can say it will have been worth it. And then, you know, that's just part of growth, you know, as individual players and as team. And so yeah, we gotta get back out there and you know, commit to doing the right things, and commit to, you know, playing together as a team with a lot of energy and enthusiasm. And you know, we got some work to do for sure, you know, to prepare ourselves to stay in the rankings where we want to be and have the seeding we want in the Lone Star Conference. But really the most important thing is, you know, getting back to the basics as much as possible and making sure we've got things sorted out to get ready to go for this weekend.
And then you already touched on this weekend a little bit, back on the road to Cameron and Midwestern State. What do you expect from those matchups?
You know, Cameron, I know they're dealing with some difficulties right now as well. I believe they've got some players out with injury, and they also have, you know, 2 or 3 young girls on their team. So, you know, but Cameron's Cameron, you know, and they're the team that knocked us out of the Lone Star Conference tournament in the semis last year, and then we went up there and beat them to make it to the Sweet 16. We were 1-1 with them in the regular season the first 2 years, so they're going to be tough no matter what. They're well coached. They have a lot of pride in their program, so we're going to have to really play well in that one. And then MSU, they made the Final Four last year. They lost in the finals of the National Indoors this year. They've spent half the year at number 1 in the country. I think they're either 2 or 3 right now. So, they're a team that's loaded with experience. They've got 4 seniors in their top 5. They're going to be a tough team, no question. The good thing is that the opportunity is out there for us to go out and earn 2 big wins that can set us right back on the course that we want to be on. So that's just what we're gonna have to focus on, these next few days in practice, is what can each person individually do? What can the coaching staff do? What can we do as a team to give ourselves the best possible chance to go out and have a great weekend?
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks.